大家好，我今天呢又邀请我的同学啊，来帮我们介绍一下他生命转换的过程。因为我觉得这边每一个同学，我现在在上一个巴厘岛的那个呼吸的导师训练班，所以里边有非常多就是想法很类似的啊，然后有同样的抱负的人，我觉得每个人都很值得我们学习。所以今天请他来跟我们做介绍一下。Introduce yourself, Rich?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Hey guys, my name is Richie Bostock, also known as the Breath Guy. And yeah, I know, coined that term quickly. No, it's a funny story.
Who gave you the quote?
Yeah, no, it's, they always say the best nicknames are given to you, and it came around simply because, when I started teaching breathwork, I started meeting people, giving them sessions, and then they would introduce me to their friends, and they would always say, "This is the breath guy I was telling you about." And it just happened again and again, and it just kind of caught on, and I was like, breath guy, it's kind of catchy. Yeah.
所以一开始呢，他自我介绍，他叫 Richard. I forgot your last name.
Bostock.
他现在住在伦敦 ，Can I say you're living in London?
Yeah.
然后他每次就是他的朋友介绍他，就是给他的其他朋友的时候，就会跟他说，哦，就是那个呼吸的那个家伙。所以呢 ，the breath guy became his nickname. Do you want to tell us a bit more about yourself, like how you got into breathwork?
Yeah, sure. So, I wasn't always teaching people how to breathe for a living. I first worked in management consulting.
Management consulting, PwC, right?
PwC, yeah, they're one of the big firms. And so I was there for nearly 6 years. But to be honest, it's a great place. A lot of really amazing people that work there. But I enjoyed parts of it, but especially towards the end, I really just realized it wasn't for me anymore.
Right.
It's probably a period of about 18 months where it slowly became more and more obvious. Yeah.
You spent 6 years there?
Nearly 6 years, like 5.5 years. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Pretty good resilience. You really gave it a try.
You know what? I mean, it is a great place to work, and I did have some really amazing times there. I wouldn't change it for the world, but just because it's a great place to work doesn't necessarily mean it's what you're supposed to be doing.
Exactly. 所以他之前是在那个 PwC 工作的，也是在一个很大型的一个咨询公司。可是他上了18个月之后呢，他就发现他其实没有什么兴趣，可是他硬撑了到6年，非常厉害。So after PwC, you had a break in your career, right?
Well, even before I left, I needed to work out like what was the I was really unhappy in my life, and I thought I wasn't quite sure why. So it took taking some time away from my normal life to kind of understand what was going on. So I took 3 months off, and I went to Peru, and I volunteered at an orphanage there. Yeah.
所以他就打算请假3个月，然后就跑去秘鲁做了那个3个月的义工，在那个孤儿院做3个月的义工。
So I volunteered at an orphanage there, and that experience in itself, just being away from your normal environment and your normal life, really helps you to see what's going on more critically.
I know, that's such an important point. 他说到就是你真的要离开你现在的那个环境，你才能更清楚的去发掘那个问题所在。因为我觉得现在很多人啊，都会觉得他走不开家里啊，走不开工作啊，走不开什么啊，就会把自己局限起来，然后你越局限起来，你就是越看不清楚自己要什么。Very good point.
Yeah. So, so taking some time away from that was from my normal life meant that I could see what was going on, and what became very obvious to me was that, to be honest, a lot of things weren't right in my life. Whether it was my career, also a relationship at the time that I was in. I wanted to travel. I wanted to explore the world, and I felt like I was stuck in Australia. So I needed to change pretty much everything quickly. Yeah.
Was it after the experience in Peru, the volunteering?
And also plant medicines as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so doing ayahuasca there a couple of times as well also really helped to give me some insight as to what I already knew.
Yes.
You just what I already knew. You just needed something to tell you.
True. 所以他到秘鲁呢，除了做那个义工的工作，他也有试那个死藤水的这个体验。I think ayahuasca being a little bit like mystified. Do you want to talk about like how you Your experience basically.
with
Yeah,
ayahuasca.
that's right, yeah.
My feelings with ayahuasca is that it's such a beautiful medicine. It is so powerful if it's used at the right time with the right intention, in the right setting. The way that my shaman explained it was, what it helps to do is to remove the barrier between the conscious and the unconscious mind
So
in a big way. Yeah. So you're connecting with other things, but in the biggest way, you're connecting with yourself. So you get to really see, what's truly going on inside.
Yeah， 他觉得你在做死藤水的时候，像很多人就是觉得死藤水是非常神秘很可怕要进入什么样的可怕的旅程其实是它本身的药效，其实是可以用在一个很好的意图上面。主要呢是要让你去除这些墙，去除这些包围你的墙去这些挡住你继续前进的东西，所以才能看到你真正的自己。Beautiful.
So it was so helpful in just solidifying kind of what I already understood about what was myself and what was going on.
所以他其实心里都知道，可是因为这个药草就是让他突然顿悟，就是给他最后的这一推这一把。
So yeah, afterwards coming back to Australia, I guess within 10 days I quit my job, broke up with my girlfriend of 7 years, sold everything I owned except for a suitcase of clothes, and I moved to Hong Kong.
Wow. And you didn't have a job in Hong Kong waiting for you?
No, I had no clue.
Why did you pick Hong Kong? It's quite competitive there.
Yeah.
Actually.
Well, I picked Hong Kong because my parents were living there at the time, actually. And for my dad's work, they were over there. And when I was speaking to them when all this was happening, and I'm like, I'm getting out of Australia, I'm going somewhere. And they said, you know what, we think you'd really like Hong Kong. And, until you find your own place and kind of work out what the next step is, you can stay with us. So it just made it a little bit easier, just that transition. Yeah.
It's not easy, right? Not all the parents understand.
No. I'm very blessed. My parents have always been very supportive of anything. Open-minded and very supportive. Yeah.
所以呢，他就从秘鲁那趟回来之后呢，他就打算把工作辞掉，跟女朋友分手，退掉他的房租，然后直接搬到香港跟他的父母住。我觉得他的父母也是非常难得，就是有一个开放的心态，然后也愿意在这个人生的转换期呢，给他一些支持。
So blessed, yeah. And so when I went to Hong Kong, I started an online business. I built an app. It was an online learning platform for a martial art called Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is something I was doing a lot at the time. Yeah, and I learned how to code. I went to one of those little coding schools. For do these 3 months.
So you actually did the programming yourself?
Yeah, I did built the entire thing myself. Yeah, cool. I wanted to do everything myself. So just within about I don't know 6 months or so of deciding this is what I'm going to do and build this thing, it was up and running, and I was working from my laptop and able to kind of work from anywhere at that point.
That's great. So you really created your career by the app, right?
Yeah.
所以到香港之后呢，他就利用他的一技之长呢，就自己做 coding 然后建立一个 app 跟那个机器组，我不知道中文是什么相关的，就是关于他们教他们透过远距教学，然后这样子他就变成拿着一个那个手提电脑，他就可以到处工作了。It's a pretty good life already. Why did you want to explore more? You had a pretty free way of living already.
I think well, there's a couple of things, just because you have a good lifestyle doesn't necessarily mean that you're fulfilled. It's two very different things.
所以他提到一点说，就算我的生活是安逸的，并不代表你的心灵是真的是被滋养着的。
But the amazing thing is that lifestyle allowed me to pursue what it was that I actually wanted to do, which ultimately became breathwork.
So, 但是这个工作呢，非常间接的就让他接触到呼吸这份工作。
So I mean, how I got into breathwork was pretty soon after I left. When I moved to Hong Kong, was my dad was diagnosed with MS, which is multiple sclerosis. tricky one to
translate. 反正他爸爸生病 like your dad got very ill.
He got ill, yeah, he got ill.
Okay. 他搬到香港之后呢，他发现他爸爸生病了。
Yeah, and so with this specific disease that he has, there's no real cure for it. No, so.
所以但是医院啊，全部都说没有一个完全的那个解决根治的一个方案。So you only can relieve the pain a little bit or control.
Yeah, there's kind of treatments for the symptoms, but not really like a cure.
Okay, so what did you guys do?
So we started researching what are ways to be able to help him, and came across this man by the name of Wim Hof, known as the Iceman, right?
Yeah. 所以大家应该有听过 Iceman 是 Is he from
the Netherlands?
Netherlands. 他是荷兰人，然后他也是可以在那个海底下呼吸，大概 he can breathe under the ocean for like 1 hour or so, something like that.
No, not quite.
Something like that.
He can't breathe underwater. He's not a fish.
All right,
He's an amazing
he can
man.
swim.
Swim.
He can hold his breath. Is that?
So he has a few world records. I think one was swimming under ice for the longest time. But this big one, he sat in a block of ice basically for 1 hour and 53 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. And a bunch of other things like he nearly climbed Everest just wearing his shorts.
你可以查查看，就是 Iceman 这个人很厉害，他可以就是在那个。在南极还是北极下面游泳，然后还可以在一个冰屋里面待1个多小时。反正他这个方法完全是透过呼吸来控制自己体温来调节的。And you learned it just by reading the book, or?
I came across him on a podcast, actually.
A podcast?
Yeah.
Wow. Was it his own podcast?
No, he was a guest on somebody else's.
Cool.
Yeah.
所以他是透过 podcast 认识到这个人的。
So he talked about how he's created a method that is really good for everyone's health and well-being, but specifically good for people who have autoimmune diseases, which is what MS is.
Okay. 所以他就有一个理论啊，就透过呼吸呢，就可以解决一些自律性神经失调的一些问题。So did you use it as on your dad?
Yeah. So actually, Wim, he does these trainings in Poland in the middle of winter, where you go for a week and learn the technique. And you do all the crazy stuff that he does, swimming in the ice, water.
Was it with ice? It was Iceman.
Yeah.
Right.
So then climbing the tallest mountain in your shorts, all that good stuff.
So your dad actually.
I did.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, I did it because Dad. Yeah, I needed to venture and see what it was about before Dad would try. Yeah.
所以他就真的跑去波兰，然后就跟着这个 Iceman 学习啊，就是上爬，就是水里游泳啊等等不同的一些训练。
Yeah.
How did that go?
It was incredible. So that was my first deep experience with breathwork because the Wim Hof method includes cold exposure and breathwork, basically the main two things.
所以它主要理论是
cold exposure.
Okay, 就是对冷温度啊，就是在冷的天气呢，你的适应能力啊，还有你调控你自己本身的呼吸，就是基本上是用这2个来训练自己。
Yeah. So how
did you?
Did
you use this to help your dad, or?
Well, yeah. So I had the experience in Poland and just had an incredible time. Like I said, swimming in ice lakes, walking around the snow, climbing mountains in minus 19 degrees.
Cool. Oh my God!
Just wearing shorts and nothing else.
And
long story short, I came back and I taught the method to Dad, and he breathes every day, cold showers every day. He changed his diet as well, which is really important, and his MS has just stopped in its tracks.
Wow. So he's like fully cured now.
So what his situation is that the symptoms, MS is a degenerative disease, so it gets worse and worse and worse. It basically just stopped. It didn't progress any further in the years.
所以他回到香港之后呢，他就教他爸爸这些方法，就控制他的饮食啊，还有冲冷水澡啊，然后去外面运动啊等等，然后他的那个疾病的那个症状呢就被控制住了，就没有再继续蔓延下去。That's amazing! Wow!
Right, it's
cool.
And so so that's kind of my first experience with breathwork.
Yeah.
And apart from it helping my dad, just the breathing that we did in Poland just blew me away. I didn't know that you could access emotion like this just by doing some breathing. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
所以在波兰这个学习呢，跟那个 Iceman 学习，他完全没有想到，只是透过这么简单的呼吸方式呢，就可以碰触到你心里 很深处的一些情绪。
Yeah. So yeah. So and seeing what the effect it had on my dad and the effect it had on me, that's what kind of started my obsession with breathing and breathwork.
Okay. 所以因为这些启程呢，就让他开启了这个呼吸这条路。So now, are you when you're teaching breathwork, is it like a combination of different breathworks?
So after I finished doing the Wim Hof retreat, I went and just learnt any other style of breathwork that was out there, basically.
Wow. So you really just go for it, did all your research, and really just experiment on yourself.
Well, I just wanted to see like what else are people doing just by breathing, and so it brought me to transformational breath. It brought me to doing rebirthing with Dan Brulé.
Okay.
And yeah.
所以他后来呢就发现，哇，呼吸就可以有这么简单的一个有力的方法，他就决定呢用自己来做实验，就到处去看看这世界上还有什么一些其他的呼吸方法。那Dan Brulé，他有写一本书叫《Just Breathe》，是非常非常好的一本书，我自己也是看过， It's a really amazing book myself。所以他就开始跟 Dan 开始学习，然后他有做一些另外一些 transformational breathwork and other types of breathwork. Wow. And there's so many out there, right?
You'd be surprised how many ways there are to breathe.
Yeah, so many. But I guess the principle is pretty much the same, like connected breathing.
I mean, connected breathing generally is the common thread through most of them. To be honest with you, the most different version of breathwork that I've done so far is what we're doing right now.
Right. Okay. 他说大部分的那个呼吸呢，当然是要连续的呼吸，因为通常我们呼吸的时候，在吸气会停一下，呼气也会停，其实会停一下的。那这是一个非常基本的道理，不管外面教的有什么不一样。可是，我们现在在受训的又是一个非常非常不一样的一个呼吸的方式。But that's great. But why don't we talk about what do you do right now?
Yeah, of course. So I live in London, and I mean, I teach. I just call it breathwork because my definition of breathwork is just any time you're using your breathing or a breathing technique to change your state of being, whether that's your physical, your mental, or your emotional health.
Right. 所以他就是想要改善大家的那些身体的状况啊，跟他改善他爸爸身体的状况，或是你的精神状况啊，或是你的一些情绪的状况。
So I do a lot of one-on-one work, as traditionally I think most breath workers do, working with breathwork as an incredible form of therapy for people.
所以他做一些一对一的工作。
And then I do a lot of work with corporates and classes, gyms, yoga studios. So bigger groups, but less about deep emotional healing, more about just what other benefits can you get just by doing dedicated breathing sessions.
Vitality, efficiency,
energy, going into meditative flow states, clearing that monkey mind, all the physical benefits of that oxygenation and that kind of thing. So you don't always have to go into deep emotional trauma land with breath work. You can be used for so many different things. I even work one-to-one with athletes. So teaching them how to breathe in certain ways to be able to increase their performance.
所以你们做那个呼吸啊，不见得要想的这么深远，说一定要一些什么创伤的一些释放啊，情绪的释放。有时候就是基本上在你工作上的效率啊，或是还有帮一些运动员做呼吸的训练呢，甚至可以帮他们增加他们的表现力。That's great! Wow!
So lots and lots of different ways to be able to use your breathing. I truly believe that it's one of the untapped tools that for one reason or another we haven't learned to use in the West, particularly. So
that's also the reason I got into breathwork, because I do some energy work, I learn this and that, but this thing is so simple and so easy. Everybody can do it on their own.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why we're very dedicated to use breathwork to help change people's life. 他刚刚也提到就是 I already forgot what you say. But anyway, let's carry on.
Something about that. Yeah.
Sorry, 就是有点翻译又要自己讲话，所以有点合不上。可是总之呢，他觉得呼吸呢这是一个非常简单的方法。然后这好像在西方其实是没有被碰触到。I think even in the East, like we don't really know how important is the breath.
I mean, you see, in traditional like Chinese medical practices, there's
Right.
qigong or tai chi,
Oh, yeah, I missed that part.
pranayama from the yoga
Pranayama.
traditions,
Yeah,
and
I
even
guess so. A little bit
Zen
more.
Buddhist traditions have breathing techniques. Obviously, Sufi traditions. So,
对对对
there is
是
some
的
stuff ingrained
Yeah.
in the culture, but at the same time, there's so much more as well.
嗯
Yeah.
对我刚刚想想，就是其实我们东方还是有一些就是着重呼吸的一些冥想啊，或者苏菲的啊，或是一些印度的瑜伽的 pranayama，其实还是有注重一些瑜伽，没错啦。跟西方比，我们好像是真的比较领先一筹。Okay, but can you tell us this one or two examples, like how, like one of your most profound experience, your personal experience, and maybe one about your client's experience?
Personal experiences. Oh my goodness, where to start? You mean, once you've had hundreds of breathing sessions, like for
Right.
yourself,
Yeah.
you have basically a full story
I
of
know,
different and incredible,
every journey is,
incredible experiences. I'm just trying to think what's a good one. Here's a crazy one, which
Okay.
I love telling this one, and it goes to just how connected a child is, even with their mother, even when they're not born yet, even when they're still in the womb.
对，
So-
他讲一个故事呢，就是有关于他，is it your personal experience？ 有关于
Mine was
他
mine,
自己
yeah.
他自己的故事是有关于他在孩子的时候就跟他的，就显示他那时候在跟孩子跟妈妈之间那么深的连接，就是在肚子里面的时候就可以感觉到很深的连接。这故事是关于这个的啦。OK， go ahead。
So, I had one session where I basically saw, I was breathing and a scene came into my mind of me sitting, just first person sitting on a bed in a bedroom and just crying and feeling lots of sadness and lots of not being unsure about what's coming, and so just a lot of real negative emotion. And it wasn't my memory though, like it didn't happen to me. I'd never seen the room before, but it was like it was me. And then when I realized that actually it was my mum
How did you
while
realize
she was
that?
pregnant with me.
Oh,
Just felt it. I was like, oh
right.
crap, that's what's going on.
And
so-
did you check with your mom about it?
So I
or-
called my mum
Right.
after the session and I asked her, she'd gone through some tough things while she was pregnant with me, which I
Right.
already knew about. So then I asked her, did you ever like go into your room and cry? And she said, yeah, that was like the place where I had privacy. And then I said, okay, was the mirror on the right hand
Oh, my
side with the
goodness.
wardrobe over here with this color curtains? And then she goes, yes, that was my bedroom.
Specific color, you know.
And that was my bedroom. And I was like, okay, cool, just checking. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, such a great story to tell. 他就说他以前在呼吸的时候呢，他就看到一个画面，就是他在床上哭，然后哭一哭就很多情绪上来，就是很多无助啊，很多悲伤的情绪啊。可是他清楚的知道 ，How did you know that it was not you?
I just knew it was my mum.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
like instinct.
Just knew, it's
right,
instinct,
okay.
yeah, it's knew,
所以他
yeah.
就觉得说那不是我啊，所以他就打电话，他就觉得应该是妈妈，所以他就打电话跟他妈妈确认，然后他妈妈说，对，以前他怀他的时候就有一段比较难过的时候，然后他就唯一有自己独处的时候就在床上，然后在床上他说他就常常在那边哭泣。然后更准确一点呢 ，Rich 开始问他说：“哦，右边的是不是柜子？左边是不是什么颜色的窗帘？”然后 it was exactly right， 然后完全就是对上了。所以就算 Rich 在妈妈的肚子里，可是这个记忆是可以传承下去。So no doubt, like moms or parents' memories or DNA will pass on to us and unconsciously.
Absolutely.
Oh, so good.
So I
didn't
had to
realize
release that. Yeah, and that was just
Wow.
one really cool one.
Wow, that's really cool. Yeah.
But from a client's perspective, I once had a lady that when she had a powerful release during a breathwork, she looked like she had decreased in age by like 10 years.
Oh my goodness.
After 1 hour.
Wow. 所以他有一个非常棒的一个转换呢，就是他的客人呢，就是做完1个小时的呼吸呢，他就突然年轻10岁。因为 you mentioned that he had a lot of tension.
Yeah, so basically, she was holding a lot of her anger and frustration in her face and in her neck and everything. So as soon as we were able to clear that, her face just went, softened
my
out.
goodness.
She looked like almost a completely different person.
Yeah.
She had to go to the mirror, and when she saw herself, she just burst into tears.
Oh, it's beautiful. Well, 他刚刚说，其中有个客人啊，就是做完呼吸之后呢，他就突然年轻10岁，因为他脸上就很多那种紧绷啊，很多就是压力啊，全部都显示在脸上了。你的身体不会说谎的，你有压力的话，就算你嘴巴不说谎，你身体都会记录这些东西的。就做完1个小时后，他就看了镜子，然后就忍不住的掉下眼泪。Oh, such a beautiful, beautiful.
Isn't it just amazing?
Yeah, I think that's exactly why we want to like promote it to as many people as possible.
Look,
right?
at the end of the day, it's free medicine. Once you understand how to do it, you understand yourself, anyone can breathe. And if it means that you can drastically shift the quality of your life just by doing a little bit of breathing, it's almost criminal that not everyone knows about it.
Yeah, 对，所以他刚刚讲了一个很好的点，就是呼吸又不用花钱，然后又可以自己做，然后就可以改变你的人生，改变你的生活品质。这根本就是你如果不会的话，就没有拿回这个力量的话，简直就像犯罪一样，这很可惜的一件事情啦。这个比喻我有点难办，可是就是这个意思啦。对啊。So you also had experience with the baby before, right? Doing breathwork with baby. Yes. Rich 跟我讲一个他跟一个小 baby 做呼吸的一个经验，我觉得那个非常棒的故事，听他讲一下。
So that's a really special thing, being able to breathe a baby, and so obviously if you learn about rebirthing, so much of that is about how do we remove the birth trauma.
Yeah. 所以因为 you did rebirthing 对吧？我们俩都是学 rebirthing 的，就是重生呼吸的嘛。然后重生呼吸有关于就是除了你从小到大，还有你以前出生的一些创伤要怎么样释放。所以他那时候就有一个 baby， was it your friend's baby?
Friend's baby.
是他朋友的一个宝宝，然后才6天大而已，才出生6天而已。
So to be honest, the sooner that you can start breathing the baby just after it's had the trauma, the better.
Exactly.
So he was 6 days old when we did the breathing.
Yeah.
And oh, you told me? Yeah, 6 days old. And it was just beautiful. Breathing with babies is a bit shorter. Might only take anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes.
对。
But to see a release like that
Right.
and it's over just in a few
How
seconds.
did the baby release?
Cry.
Oh,
Yeah, let's
man.
cry, let it go,
Wow,
let it out,
that's
and then back to.
amazing. So with your method, there's no age limit of doing breathwork, right?
No, there's no age limit.
Right.
There are obviously certain precautions and things you need to
Right.
think about depending on if people have certain problems, whether it's physical or
problems,
mental,
right.
anything like that.
对。
Always need to be cautious about that. But specifically from an age perspective,
Right.
there's always ways to make breath work.
OK， 所以他的理论是比较，就是其实不管多小或是多老的人都可以做呼吸，不管你身体状况怎么样，你的精神状况怎么样，主要是让他创造一个安全的环境，让他可以放心的呼吸，然后让我们也比较掌控。Do you do like liability check, like when you ask for a bigger crew to do?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you need to
do
do like a medical questionnaire to make sure everyone's all good.
所以这就是为什么呢？我们在办活动的时候都会请你们写一下，就是你们现在身体的状况啊，还有一些纸张要确认你们的状况，然后帮你们创造一个安全的环境。That's a great story, man.
Yeah, isn't it nice? It's okay.
So what is your mission now?
My mission is to help ascend humanity. I truly believe that we are in a bit of an interesting time in human history.
Yeah.
And for us to come out of it in the right way, everyone needs to have a little bit of a consciousness shift, or maybe even a consciousness upgrade. And I think breath work is such a great way to do that.
Absolutely. I think that's exactly, we have the same reason, like why we continue this work. 就是他觉得他现在的终极使命呢，是要帮助整个人类的进化。因为当你的那个意识改变了，你的外在的环境才可以跟着改。所以这就是我们两个非常非常提倡 呼吸的这个工作。It's so easy. It's like maybe you probably need to pay a little bit in the beginning to see
Yeah, you have to learn. So,
but-
like anything, you have to learn first.
Right. But at the end, like you have total control of your own breath. We cannot breathe for you. You have to breathe for yourself. Yeah.
It all comes from within.
Yeah,
It's the most
absolutely.
beautiful thing, you know. As breath workers, you know, I kind of see our roles like midwives. You know,
Yeah,
we are there to hold the space and make sure that everything goes safely.
Right.
Ultimately, the charge, the breath, is what is going to do it for you, and that comes
对
from you.
所以我们只是帮你创造一个安全的环境，就给你们当时需要的一些支持啊，或是做一个引路者 ，like also a wayfinder. Only because we started first, but everybody has a different journey, and we're just there to hold a space for you. 所以其他的部分就是你自己要努力的啊，然后这是一个非常让人振奋的事情，因为你不用去一直看病啊，一直吃药啊，一直做一些靠外面的寻求，你可以从自己从内开始。Beautiful. Oh, it's so happy that we have like a lot of like-minded people here. It's very, very encouraging for me personally to meet people like you. Yeah.
So happy to have met you as well. I think you're
Yeah.
doing amazing work,
Thank you.
and you just have to keep going.
Yes.
And
you gotta keep
everyone
going.
needs to just, you know, like, give breath work a try. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Because after all, it's just breathing. You know, what's the big deal?
Do you get somebody will say like, why do you have to pay for breath for breathing?
Oh, all the time.
Yes.
The number one response I get when I tell people what I do is they go, why do I need to work on my breathing? Like, doesn't it just happen?
Right.
But this is part of the this is part of like the paradox of life, isn't it? It's there's
Right.
always, you know, it's so how something so simple can
Right.
have such an incredible effect.
Yeah.
Because it does affect every single system in the body.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
the way we breathe is just so fundamental in who we are as a person.
对，我觉得我们两个啊，like we both get the response like this. Like 为什么呼吸需要花钱？为什么还要花大把的钱去参加这种重生呼吸营啊，或者等等？其实这是因为你觉得非常简单、非常容易的事情，你反而就更容易忽视就它的力量。So you have some breathwork session all over UK.
Yeah,
right?
mostly in the
Yeah.
UK.
Right.
I do travel, but mostly in the UK.
对，所以如果你在 UK 的话，你可以找，and there's no language barrier, right? So they basically just breathe. 所以你们如果在伦敦 ，you're based in London right now, and you have like workshops all over UK. 如果你们在英国的话呢，你可以找 Rich is your man. Or we also have some other friends like maybe I'll post it later and share it later. But 如果你们在台湾的话呢，我们在重生呼吸会在2月23号、24号，然后接下来在2月28号跟3月3号会结合药草跟重生呼吸的一个4天3夜的营，然后3月9号、3月10号应该会在台北或是花莲，我还没想好日子。可是你们有机会一定要来，因为在台湾我觉得还没有人真正发掘它的重要性。然后这也是一个我个人的心愿，就是把这个世界各地都在做的事情带到台湾。Yeah, I think it's more and more popular in the world right now. We just need to.
2019 is the year that breathwork really takes off.
Right,
Promise.
2019. Oh,
Next year.
Oh, yeah.
Next year it's
Oh,
taken
okay.
off. It's taken
Cool.
off. Yeah.
Cool. 所以我们都觉得2019年呢，都是会变成我们的那个呼吸之年 ，and we're all working on different part of the world and trying to make a difference.
That's it. We're all doing our bit together.
Yeah. 所以你们看到这个的话呢，就是有兴趣可以留言，然后再聊咯。OK， 拜拜。
Bye bye.